In the world of education, there are many philosophies and perspectives on childhood development. At Raphaeli, we are guided by the spiritual insights of Rudolf Steiner, with anthroposophy serving as a foundational lens through which we nurture the unfolding of each child's unique being. This philosophy guides how we teach and engage with children, ensuring that we deliver content in a way that is consciously aligned with their developmental stages. When teaching young children in kindergarten, playgroup, or even class 1, we introduce them to fairy tales. And at this stage, children are receptive to archetypes, these timeless, ancient, and beautiful imaginary pictures. In class 2, we introduce the concept of duality, exploring the contrast between the animal and the saint, reflecting the duality within human nature itself. As the child transitions to class 3, they move out of this awe and wonder of early childhood. Early childhood is a time when they are fully immersed in imagination. You can observe this in a garden where they marvel at the sight of a small snail or a spider. And at this stage, they experience an extraordinary connection to nature and the universe. They cherish their teachers and parents with pure, unseparated love and feel at peace and one with everyone. However, as they reach class 3, they encounter what we often refer to as crossing the Rubicon, the 9-year change. And this is a significant developmental milestone where the child begins to experience a kind of soul separation from their parents, authority figures, and even from nature. They start to feel less a part of everything and more separate. This newfound sense of individuality can lead to feelings of anxiety, a profound sense of loss, as they realize, I'm alone. In education, we observe the child's development in cycles of 7 years. And the first 7 years, followed by the next 7 up to 14, and then the next up to 21. In the first 7-year cycle, the child is very much connected to their will, expressed through their hands and movements and physical bodies, climbing of trees, running around, crafting, making things, picking up things. And this is why in our school and in Waldorf schools worldwide, we refrain from introducing them to formal writing, reading, or any form of intellectual work too early. We honor their need to engage fully with the world through their bodies and senses during this critical period of development. Let's now consider the significant developmental stages in a child's life according to Steiner's anthroposophy. It is important to keep in mind that the way children experience their world changes significantly as they grow, especially during key stages of their development. Starting with the first year of life, as children turn 2, something remarkable happens. For the first time, they begin to express themselves with I. Before this, they may have simply expressed their needs by saying nana or bottle. But now they say, I want. It's not just a verbal expression, it's an awakening. And Steiner described this moment as the first glimmering of the human ego. It's the emergence of the beautiful I, where the child begins to understand themselves as a distinct individual. This is me, and I exist. As they continue to grow, this self-awareness deepens. And by the time they enter the second cycle of life from ages 7 to 14, we see another significant shift, particularly around the age of 9. And at this age, the child's ego asserts itself even more strongly, and they begin to understand, I am me and I am not you, I am separate from you. And this separation can be challenging for them, as it marks the first time they truly grasp their individuality in a more profound way. Then, as they approach the age of 16, which is the second year of the third cycle of childhood, another transformation occurs. Legally, they begin to transition into adulthood. And while they may not be fully considered adults, they start to take on the responsibilities and characteristics of adulthood. They can get a learner's license, and they begin to see themselves as more independent. This marks yet another reinforcement of their ego, mirroring the earlier transitions at 2 and 9 years of age. As educators, we particularly focus on the changes that occur around the age of 9. The story of Adam and Eve is particularly powerful for children because it mirrors their own experience. Adam and Eve were once innocent, unknowing beings in the Garden of Eden, living in a paradise without fear or pain. But with the bite of the apple, they are cast out of the paradise by an archangel and never to return. And this story reflects, in a way, the child's transition from the imaginative, protected world of early childhood into a new reality where they begin to see the world more clearly, often feeling as though they have been cast out of their own paradise. This awakening can be challenging. Children might become anxious, scared, feel separate from the adults around them. It's not uncommon for them to become preoccupied with thoughts of death or fear, losing their parents and teachers. They might experience more nightmares or have morbid curiosities. These changes, though concerning to parents and teachers, are a normal part of their development as they grapple with this new understanding of the world. As parents and educators, it's essential to meet these feelings with reassurance and love. When children bring their fears or concerns to us, we must respond in a way that they can understand and digest without making their anxieties bigger than they need to be. If we react with too much adult worry or fear, we risk amplifying their concerns. Instead, we should provide them with love and reassurance, showing them that we are here to support them through this developmental stage. In conclusion, these developmental stages are significant moments in a child's journey towards self-awareness and independence. By understanding and supporting them through these transitions, we can help them navigate these changes with confidence and security. How do these stories in grade 3 help the 9-year-old child? And this is where it becomes really interesting to me. The remedy is found in our curriculum. We introduce the children to ancient Hebrew stories, followed by practical activities like farming, gardening, building. These activities mirror what had happened to Adam and Eve when they were cast out of paradise. They had to learn to be self-sufficient, to hunt, to farm, to build. They learned to be aware of their environment and to live in the reality. For the 9-year-old child, engaging in activities like gardening is crucial. It's about practical action and reaction. You plant something and watch it grow or not grow. This hands-on experience is vital. Building something together gives them a sense of accomplishment that they can see, they can co-create something useful. In some schools, children even make their own clothing, such as crocheting a hat. It's empowering for them to realize that with their hands, they can create something for themselves as they start to stand more firmly in the world. The ancient Hebrew stories also play a significant role in this developmental phase. Each story features a patriarch, or at least most of them, a father figure, an authority that the child looks up to. Whether it's Moses, Joseph, Abraham, Jonah, these figures represent a form of authority that the child needs, a loving authority, a guide. The patriarchs in these stories are not authoritarian, who suppress their people. Instead, they are the leaders who listen, struggle, show compassion, and lead the people out of slavery. Joseph, for example, is almost killed by his brothers, but shows incredible forgiveness in the end. Moses struggles with speech and leadership, but becomes a great leader, even though he makes many mistakes along the way, for he is a human being. These are the kinds of figures we want to present to the child, leaders who embody a loving authority. It's important to also understand that this authority is not about being hands-off. Instead, it's about guiding them with love and strength, just as Moses led the people out of Egypt. This is not about becoming a dictator to your child. Dictatorship is something that belongs at a different place, with figures like Julius Caesar. For a Class 3 child, we need a Moses, someone who can lead with authority but also show human emotion like anger when necessary. Many of the stories don't feature matriarchs, but rather patriarchs. A strong male energy that is about doing, taking action. And when I spoke of the ego earlier, I was referring to the beautiful, healthy ego, the one that says, this is who I am. And when I speak of the patriarch, I'm referring to the beautiful, healthy, loving man, a leader who listens, who is strong and gentle, kind and firm.